a sea of peace and joy and light. Beyond my reach I know, and me the storm, tossed, weeping night, finds room to rage and flow. I cry aloud, but all in vain. I helpless to earth, unkind, with soul of might, can share my pain. A death dart alone I find, a raft. Am I on the sea of time? My oars are washed away. How can I hope to reach the climb of God's eternal day? But hark, I hear by flute its notes, bring the summit down. Now safe am I owe absolute. Gone death, gone lights, gone nights, start frown. Down, about. I know I am a speck of dust, yet the mother of the universe eternally stays with me. She is my eternal companion. She is my only consolation. And on the one hand, I am the poorest of all. On the other hand, I am the child of light, of the mother of the universe. May I remain unperturbed in all my happiness and sorrows align in the dark and in the last dark hour of the night. Angels come to love us and awaken us in the last dark hour of the night. Angels come to love us and awaken us. I want to spend the rest of my life rhyme after rhyme. At the end of a sorrowful night, truth appears and smilingly says, beloved, fear no more. Pierce in the veil, a smile tear appears and says, forget not, I am eternally unconquerable, improbable. What is important in infinity, smiling flames. What is important in eternity, climbing flames. What is important in immortality, glowing flames. From the goal is won by a shrine chimney, rhyme after rhyme. Thou art my Lord, my golden dream. Thou art my life and death. Oh, bless me with thy hope supreme, Lord of the eternal breath. Age long the vision of thy son, for darkness have I sought. I know the evils I should shun and quickly bring to naught. The earth is death and blind, my Lord, is true goal. It denies, it hears no voice, and no heavenly word from those who seek the skies. Oh, yet I feel the keenly grace with me, a feeble mortality. I shall win at last the noonward race, plunge into the nectar sea. Indeed, never gonna stop rapping, spitting poetry again and again, forever and ever. Centuries of my totally forgotten hopes are reborn. Therefore, I am smiling today. My God is the witness. My despair is the witness. Centuries of my unconsciously sealed inner treasures are unsealed. Therefore, I am dancing today. My God is the witness. My inner penury is the witness. Indeed, a spit this. I sing because you sing. I smile because you smile. Because your play on the flute. I have become your flute. You play in the depths of my heart. You are mine and I am yours. This is my soul identification in one form. You are my mother and father, eternal, and the consciousness moon, consciousness sun, all pervading, invading. I'm going to spend the rest of my life by those touch does the lily smile and open its beauty bud, whose moonlit beauty do I see in the lily, who is the eye of my eye, who is the heart of my heart. At last, then why do I not see him, his face of transcendental beauty, even within my dreams it seems. I want to spend the rest of my life, and the dark night has at last ended. I have now seen you inside the depth of my heart. I do not know what magic abides inside me. Around me is this desert, yet I am parched at the first. It seems I want to spend the rest of my life with you by my side, forever and ever. Every little thing that you do, I'm so in love with you, forever and ever, ever and ever. Forever and ever. Beside the temple of the great Premier stands an ancient cypress with a trunk of green bronze and a root of stone. The girth of the white bark would be the reach of 40 men, and its tip of kingfish blue is 2,000 feet in heaven. dating from the days of the great rulers, great statesmen. Their very tree is loved now and honored by the people. Clouds come to it from far away, from the wood cliffs, and a cold moon glistens on its peak of snow, east of the silk pavilion. Yesterday I found the ancient ruler and wise statesman, both worshipped in one temple, whose tree with curious branches ages the whole landscape in spite of the fresh colors of the windows and the doors, and so firm is the deep root so established underground that its lone lofty boughs can dare the weight of winds. Its only protection, the heavenly power, its only endurance, the art of its creator. Though oxen sway 10,000 heads, they cannot move a mountain. And when beams are required to restore a great house, though a tree writes no memorial, yet people understand that not unless they fell, it can be made of it. Its bitter heart may be tenanted now by black and white ants, but its odorous leaves were once the rest of phoenixes and pheasants. Let wise and hopeful men harbor no complaint. The greater the timber, the tougher it is to use. Haven't you but abuse? Though this country be sundered, hills and rivers endure, and spring comes green again to trees and grasses, where petals have been shed like tears, and lonely birds have sundered grief. After the war, the fires of 3 months, one message from whom is worth a ton of gold. I stroke my white hair, it has grown too thin to hold the hairpins anymore. But what shall I say of the great peak? The ancient duckdoms are everywhere green, inspired and stirred by the breath of creation. With twin forces balancing day and night, I bear my breast toward opening clouds. I strain my sight after birds flying home. When shall I reach the top and hold all mountains in a single glance? A trance, who is lovelier than she, yet she lives alone in an empty valley. She tells me she came from a good family, which is humble now into the dust when trouble aroused in the Kuan district. Her brothers and close kin were killed. What use were their high offices, not even shielding their own lives? The world has but scorn for adversity. Hope goes out like the light of a candle. Her husband, with a vagrant heart, seeks a new face like a new piece of jade. And when morning glories furl at night, and Mandarin ducks the tide lie side by side, all he can see is the smile of the new love, while the old love weeps unheard. The brook was pure in its mountain source, but away from the mountain its waters darkened, waiting for her maid to come from selling pearls for straw to cover the roof again. She picks a few flowers, no longer for her hair, and lets pine needles fall through her fingertips, and forgetting her thin silk sleeve and the cold, she leans in the sunset by a tall bamboo. The bow you carry should be strong. The shaft you use be long. Aim at a rider's horse. The king of brigands first to justice bring. So shall both slaughter lesson be, and states keep their integrity. If raid and foray, you can quell what needs for carnage spell every little thing that you do. I'm so in love with you. To what shall I compare the sacred mount that stands a bulk of green that hath no end betwixt two hands? Nature did fuse and blend all mystic beauty there, where dark and light do dusk and dawn unite. A gaze and soul cleansed at thee from clouds unsprung. One may mark with wide eyes the home and flight of birds. Someday must I by a topmost height mount at one glance to see hills numberless dwindle to nothingness. It is almost as hard for friends to me as for the morning and the evening stars. Tonight, then, is a rare event. Joining in the candlelight, two men who were young and not long ago, but now are turning gray at the temples. To find that half our friends are dead shocks us, but burns our hearts with grief. We little guessed it would be 20 years before I could visit you again. When I went away, you were still unmarried. But now these rhymes until the end of time, all day and all night, rhyme after rhyme, all day and all night, night. I'll have a light.